In 2007, Top Gear did a piece on the best bargains that you could buy for the price of the cheapest car at the time, which was the £7,000 Nissan Pixo, which was a small, very cheap hatchback, which was pretty poor, if I'm honest. However, the cars they chose were not poor at all. They chose some absolute bargains, and I'm going to go through a few of the ones that they showed off in this piece. Mitsubishi Evo 8, which was the track-focused rival to the Subaru Impreza, 4-wheel drive, 4 doors and enough room for your family. This car became incredibly desirable after it was launched. In fact, it went from being a £7,000 car back in 2007 to being a £27,000 car today, which is actually quite a price hike. The early BMW X5. This was BMW's first SUV. It contains a variety of petrol inline 6s and V8s, and also a diesel inline 6. Very, very good engine. This thing is a bargain. In fact, they still are. These are still extremely cheap cars that can be picked up as little as £2,000. However, they are still available for the same money as they were about 10 or 20 years ago. The Mazda RX-8 is both a good car and a bad car. It's a good car to drive, it's pretty cool to look at as well, really interesting looking thing, pretty powerful as well, 230 horsepower, and luckily they are still cheap. However, they are cheap for a reason, and that's because they bankrupt their owners because they basically shred themselves. Their rotary engines are very, very high maintenance and very fragile, but they can be picked up for very little money. This car was a sensation when it came out. The Honda S2000 was put up against BMW and Porsche in the sort of mid-sized sports car market. A 240 horsepower 2-litre naturally aspirated VTEC engine which delivered superbike-like performance for a fairly reasonable price. Owners loved it, reviewers loved it, it handles well, it's insanely tunable, and amazingly, you can still get these for £7,000, although I would be very careful if you are looking at a car in this price range. This one is a bit of an oddball. It's the Alfa Romeo GTV Cup. This was produced in a very limited run as basically a homologation for an Alfa Romeo GTV race series. They featured no more power than the standard cars, but they did feature a very cool body kit with a spoiler, new bumper and side skirts. They look really cool, and like all really cool Alphas, they have skyrocketed in price. In fact, you can't really find one for less than $15,000 nowadays. American viewers are going to be interested in this one, the C4 Corvette, one of the most radical muscle cars ever produced. This 1980s legend has always been the cheapest Chevrolet Corvette that you can buy. In the US, they are still extremely cheap. However, the ones that made it over here quickly rusted away, and the ones that are still left are a bit more expensive than they used to be. These used to be like £2,000-3,000, now they are 4 times that. Mark 1 BMW Z4, it was a pretty weird looking car, but it was quite cool. I think it's brilliant. It contains the several inline 6s and 4 cylinders. In fact, one of them is the same engine that you could get in the E46 BMW M3. You could also get it with a manual. Pretty nice. It's a pretty good car and very cheap as well. You can pick these up for as little as $2,000 to $3,000, and you can even find a coupe for less than £7,000. Subaru Impreza WRX, which is another legend inspired by the world of rallying. This car is 4-wheel drive, has 4 doors and enough room for your family and your dog. You can get this in an estate version as well. You get a 2-litre turbocharged boxer engine, which can be fragile but is pretty reliable. But this thing is a superb car. People bought these in their thousands, and subsequently they are still available in large numbers on the used market for less than £7,000. Early Mercedes E55 AMG, which was Mercedes' response to the BMW M5, a big Mercedes V8 up front with a supercharger bolted to it, producing nearly 400 horsepower, which is pretty respectable, that's sent to the rear wheels with an available manual transmission, which is pretty nice. You can also get these in the estate as well. However, Mercedes do tend to shoot up in value. However, I'm surprised that you can still get these early E55s for less than £7,000. They won't be in the best condition, but you can still get them if you want to. The Jaguar XKR. I like these a lot. I think they're really cool. This is when Jaguar tried to make a Grand Tourer to try and rival BMW's new 6 Series and Porsche's 911. This thing is great. A manual, all automatic V8 coupe that's nice and soft and has a nice big boot that's perfect for a long road trip. It's very comfortable and very fast and very cheap. TVR Chimera. These used to be dirt cheap. These used to be one of the cheapest British sports cars that you could buy. However, more people have realised that these baby TVRs are absolutely brilliant, and as a result, they have sadly risen in value. You cannot find one of these for less than £8,000 just out of reach. However, you can buy the smaller 3.9 litre TVR 350i, which I still think is a pretty cool car. And last but not least, we have a forgotten super saloon from Jaguar when they tried to rival the BMW M5, but it didn't quite have the grunt. It is the S-Type R. Now, I get it. A lot of people might think that this is ugly. I don't think it's offensively ugly. I get what it's supposed to look like. It doesn't look that great. But still, it's a great car when you think about it. It's a 4-litre supercharged 400 horsepower rear-wheel drive coupe that's probably could be drifted. I don't know. That would be pretty cool to see someone drift this. 4 seats as well. And they're still very, very cheap.